everybody, it's Amanda from Flow, once located in Irwin but now doing classes virtually during the pandemic. Today we are looking at making handprint Christmas tree ornaments. So this is a simple project made out of paper. I used construction paper, but you can use any type of paper that you want. I'd like you to get as creative as you can. And the fun thing about this is if you are recycling paper, you can make as many of these as you like. And I would bet that your grandparents and your aunts and uncles would love to have your handprint made into a Christmas tree. So let's get started. So let's talk about today's project's supply list. I am using some construction paper because it seems like a lot of people have it, and really you can use any kind of paper. If you don't have colored construction paper at home, you can use printer paper. You could even use notebook paper. Anything that you have on hand, especially if you only have white paper, you can use crayons, markers, colored pencils, paints, anything that you have, you can decorate with. I have green, yellow, brown, and red to work with today. I'm gonna need my green for my tree, and I'm gonna need my brown for my trunk. The yellow and red is just for decorations on the tree. I also have a pair of scissors, a pencil, and a glue stick. If you have string, that would be great for hanging. Otherwise, I am using a strip of my green construction paper as a ribbon for my tree. I'm gonna start with my green construction paper, and I am going to just take my hand, and it doesn't have to be the whole way up the page. It can be right here at the edge, and I am right-handed, so we're gonna do my left hand as an outline. And you want your hand to look as much like a tree as possible. So I am just spreading my fingers just a little bit, thinking tree-like, and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to outline. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I am going to cut out my handprint. I'm sure that it's really hard to see my outline on the camera or on the video because it's really hard to see it in person. So if you have a hard time seeing your own print, you can try using a pen or a permanent marker instead, or a regular marker or crayon even. So now I have my hand print, and while I'm here, I'm just going to cut a little strip of paper for my paper ribbon that I'll need at the end of this project. I want to make a trunk for my tree, and so I'm going to grab my brown construction paper, and I want to kind of make it look like maybe that it's coming from the center up here. And so I just am going to use my pencil again to kind of just make a note of where I'll need the paper cut to. So I know that I'm using my edge here, so I don't have to cut that. And now I'll have that one. And I can cut my construction paper up that line, and even a little bit further just to give it a little extra room, and cut directly across. Now I have my trunk and my tree hand. For me, I want to glue it on right away. So I'm going to kind of try to line this up as best I can. Now you can glue your whole finger down for the trunk, but for me, I think I want to leave at least a little bit unglued so that I can curl it up and make it a little bit 3D. So I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm just going to put some glue right here and down the finger just a little bit. And that should be good enough. So I only went down to here, so I can curl this whole area here if I want to. Now I'll take my trunk and I'll lay it right on top of this and flip it over, and now I have the trunk of my tree. Now I can move on to making decorations for the tree. So we know for sure that we're going to need a nice star for the top of our tree. So for me, I'm just going to cut out a square on one side here. And the way I make my stars can be a little bit tricky, but I'm still gonna try it out. Now you don't have to make a star if you don't want to. You can make it an angel, you can make it a heart, you can make it anything. I'm gonna make just a 4-pointed star because that will be easier. And to make a 4-pointed star, I need it to be kind of like a point down like that, and then angled in from the side. Let's get that extra little bit. Just trim that. Okay, angle it out again. Don't let me cut the whole thing. And then cut again from the top down to there. And now when I unfold, let's get these little bits and pieces out of here. When I unfold my 4-point star, let me fix that edge a little bit. There we go. I will have that. So I can put that at the top. I think I'm going to trim this. I think I'm going to trim this bottom one just a little bit. Okay. Now we should have a little bit more even. Yeah, there we go. And I can glue that right away with my glue stick. I'll just put a little bit of glue up here and maybe down a little bit. Like that. And I can hold it down for 10 seconds until it sets. And now I have the start of my tree. I love the way it looks already. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to some red, and I'm gonna go back to my yellow too. But for my red, I think I want to make some circles for my Christmas bulbs. And for me, I think I'm gonna do like a strip of paper, and I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a moment. But I'm gonna cut this strip out. And kind of just like I did with the stars, or the star, I should say, I'm gonna fold this, and I'm gonna make a bunch of folded circles so that it's a little bit more even than if I was just to cut out circles. You don't have to do it this way. This is just kind of for my own ease of doing things, but I'm just gonna trim this down, and then I can cut these here by folding them. Okay. And then I can cut a circle by cutting a half circle on the folded side, so the folded side is not being cut necessarily. And so when I open this, we'll have these nice little imperfect circles that I can scatter all over my Christmas tree. And I still have more for a few more here, a few more circles. So we'll cut out a couple more by folding that in half. Now, if you can't do 4 thick, that's completely fine. I am just doing this to save time, but you can do each individual one. There's nothing wrong with that. This is all a learning process, and you can make different shapes. They don't have to be circles. You can make squares, or you know, whatever you can come up with. So now I can scatter these out. Okay, and I'll have 8 of these, which is nice. And now I can add some more with the yellow. And I'm just going to cut the remaining part of this side off by just going straight up the page. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to fold it. I'm just cutting it to separate the pages, or the folds, the paper. Okay, and so now I'll have 4 pieces, and I can fold this in half again and get more pieces so that I can have smaller ornaments. Smaller, they'll be about the same size as the smaller red ones. Keep all of my scraps in one pile so that I can clean them up later. All right, and then you can do 2 at a time, or you could do 1 at a time. I'll do 2 for this one. Maybe I want to do a different shape rather than just a circle. Maybe I want to do like a diamond shape with this one, so I'll just cut it like a triangle into that folded piece, and now I'll have a couple of diamonds to put around. Now again, you can use other colors. It doesn't have to be just red and yellow. You can make your tree purple if you want. This is all your art. This is your craft. This is what you get to be creative with. Okay, and I think I might just do 2 more because it looks like my tree's getting pretty full. Okay, let's put my scraps over here. All right, and so now I can start, once I get these on there, I can start gluing all of my ornaments down onto my tree hand. And I'm gonna use my glue stick for that. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on there. And I like to have some of mine go off of my tree so that it makes it look a little bit more, like, I don't know, realistic, or it gives it a little bit more fun. Put one there. Now that I have my handprint ornament, I want to add my green strip that I had cut out for my ribbon to hang it. You can glue your paper strip or your ribbon or whatever you're using onto your tree however you like, but I am going to use a specific way to try to make it so that it's the best way to see my tree. So I'm going to glue down one side here, and I'll put that down on the top here. Okay, and I slightly angle it because it's gonna need the space to come back out. And I'm gonna glue what would be that same side. So if the glue's here, I'm gonna follow that up, and I'm gonna glue this end here, right there. And so when I go to put the paper down, it's gonna create this loop. And there we go, we're all done. Thank you for making this craft with me today. I hope that you and your family have a great holiday season. I hope that you all stay warm and healthy. And I hope that you make a ton of these hands to give out to all of your family and friends and loved ones.